morning, YouTube. So today is one of the last steps in the construction phase of the desk. What we're going to do today is we're going to make the plastic runners for the drawer. We have the drawer sanded all the way up to 500 grit and it has 3 coats of spray polyurethane. So the entire project is essentially done. We could do a little bit more polishing, but I'm going to do that off camera. Today though, we're focusing on mounting the drawer runners so that the drawer doesn't slide on the top. And the trick I'm going to use while mounting them are spacers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise the desk drawer off the top of the desk, because it's the other way around, a 1/16 of an inch. So each one of those spacers represents a 1/16 of an inch. And what's nice is that then when I go to start mounting the runners from the inside, the drawer will run straight and there'll be a gap above it, so no matter what expansion and contraction happens on the drawer, it'll never bite. So with that said, let's get to it. So now I gotta cut my high density plastic down to the size of my drawer groove. And what I'll do is I'll take that measurement in width and in height, and I'm going to subtract maybe a 32nd of an inch just so that the drawer runs loosely. I don't want it to be a perfect tight fit, because what could happen is it could bind up over time. And again, I've never run plastic for a runner before, so I don't know how it's going to perform. I do know that it's durable and it won't wear out like if I were to do it with, say, a piece of softwood instead. So I'm sure about the durability aspect. I don't know about the other properties, whether it will expand due to heat in the environment. So like during the winter when the temperature is set higher than what the room is normally. I don't know. But I'm going to account for that regardless. So I'm going to treat my plastic runner like I would a hardwood runner. You always want to leave a little bit of space just in case the drawer itself, not the drawer, the runner expands or contracts. So with that said, let's get those measurements. So the numbers come out to be exactly 1/4 inch in thickness and a 1/2 inch in width. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to rip a 1/4 inch piece off of this piece of plastic, the whole length of it. Then I'll take my cut piece, turn it on its side, and then rip it to that 1/2 inch amount. Now again, remember, I want a little bit less so that it slides, but I'm just going to cut it big first. Alright, so with that said, let's get to it. So now I'm going to set up the distance from the inside of the blade to the fence to a 1/4 inch, and I'm going to do 30 seconds less than that. Less than that. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the straight edge on this board. So this side's not straight, this is. And I'm going to run it through, not all the way through, so the blade height's not going all the way through. Make my cut. Check on the other side, because this is, actually, come think of it, it's almost 3/4 thick. So actually what we'll do, we'll cut our measurement at a 1/2 inch blade height, and then we'll rotate it and then raise or lower the blade to cut that piece out. So basically this will be cut at 1/2 inch blade height, 1/4 inch thickness. And we'll flip it and then we'll reverse those measurements to cut it out of a piece of plastic wood. Because we are working with a very, very, very thin piece. What's up? And there we go. So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut that little piece out. So if I can, there we go. We're gonna cut that piece out at a 32nd less than ½ an inch width, and then I'll have a perfect runner piece. So with that said, let's adjust the blade height to match the groove I need to cut. Now that I have my runner material, it fits perfectly in my drawer groove. So what I gotta do now is I was going to use the screws I got at the hardware store, but the problem is the heads of the screws are too big. So I might just go for a more simple solution and just brad nail it in. Pros about it is that it's not going to go anywhere. Cons is that if I don't take my time as I'm brad nailing, I could possibly cause it to bug. But the good news is I've given myself a very large gap for that, so I don't think I'm concerned about it. So with that said, let's get to work. So before I go any farther, I should rough out first the runner lengths. And I'm just going to scribe a mark on this and then go to my chop saw. Actually, you know what? I'll do this by hand. I'll use my Japanese saw and I'll just cut the lengths I need out of it. So now I put my spacers in and my runners, and the problem is it's really tight. So I need to take the smallest amount off of the runners. So the question is, do I use my jointer or my planer to take off that amount of material? The answer is the planer. It's a lot safer to do it on the planer and less likely for you to get your fingers stuck in the machine. So let's set up the planer and take off that small amount. So now the runners fit nice and the drawer slides nice. The only downside is that the drawer faceplate is running against the ground and my shims aren't lifting up high enough. So I asked myself, what material do I have that anyone can use for a shim? And I thought about it, and then it came to me. It's kind of it's worth a few cents, but money. So I can use pennies, dimes, nickels, and quarters, because they're all different thicknesses, but universally they're all stamped the same. So I could put, say, 4 quarters to raise this up to the perfect height, or 4 dimes or 4 pennies, and use whatever cents I have to make it sit at that perfect height. So instead of using these 16th inch shims, I'll use the money to raise it to that perfect height. So let's try it out. So let's start with the thickest, which are nickels. Nickel in the corner, nickel in the corner, nickel, nickel. Slide ready to go down. Looks like nickels are the winner because it is not touching at all in the front. So I'm going to slide my runners in again. Press them all the way to the front. Same here. And now, instead of screwing it, I'm going to take my brad nailer with a 5/8 nail, and I'm going to nail it in the back, flip the drawer around, so slide it in from the back side, nail it in the front, and then slowly make sure I'm nailing across with the plastic staying level. So with that said, let's just slide this out a smidge. And slip this in the back. Slide my nickels underneath. And now I should be holding it level in the front. Try it from the front. So it's a little tight on the top here, so what I'm going to try to do is sand this down more and then recoat it. But besides that, we're ready for install. So next video, we're actually going to install the desk in the space it was intended for, and we will be done. So with that said, I hope everyone's having a great week, and I'll see you guys around. Bye.